to read to you. She has said Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg, in her international bestseller Lean In, says, and I quote, "There's a special place in hell for women who do not help other women." I don't know if you've ever heard this quote before. "There's a negative stereotype on women bosses. In your opinion, to what extent is this true? And I guess then how can that be countered in organizations?"
Yeah, so thank you, Wahiga. I think there's bad men as there are bad women. I think, again, I go back to perception. I've had very good women bosses. I've had very good women colleagues and fantastic women who support me. So I think, and I hope.
And you've also had the opposite, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it is equal to men. I've had fantastic men and fantastic men bosses and colleagues, but I've also had as many bad men bosses, employees, or even the women. So I think it's equal. So I think it's perception a lot. And I think at the end of the day, we are human beings. And I think what I always advise women, because a very common question is, just take it head on and talk to the person and ask them, what is the issue? Because you might find it's a perception and there is no issue. And then if it can't work, try somewhere else. But always take it head on and do not assume.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the questions that one of our viewers asked us is sexual harassment at the workplace, especially geared towards women, and a lot of women feel that that slows down their progression. How can that be handled by women who are watching and thinking, I want to get to where you are, but in this place that I'm working in, there's this barrier. Unless I do this or that, they will not promote me.
Yeah, I think you have to grow up in your career ladder with integrity. If you're in an organization where you feel compromised in that sense, you should quit, because it shows that you never get your own worth recognized. And I always advise women, just quit, try somewhere else.
Quit, try somewhere else.
Yeah.
Even if there are 3 children at home who need to be fed. And
so, I mean, you're going to be wise about it. You're not going to be stupid about it.
Okay.
You're going to take your time and just then do what you need to do when time is right. But don't try and persist where you get advantaged of. You can make your career without giving in to anything, and women need to understand that.
Powerful statement.
With you standing straight and tall.
A powerful statement there. International Women's Day, day after tomorrow. The definition is that it's set aside to celebrate social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The hashtag is Press for Progress. The website says, we cannot be complacent, now more than ever before. There's a strong call to action to press forward and progress gender parity. How can we translate this global theme to the Kenyan situation? What would you hope to see on Thursday and moving forward?
Yeah. So first of all, I think I want to start with celebrations. I think you have to celebrate what we have achieved so far as women. You have to celebrate those women who in your life have made a difference to you. And almost everybody goes, my mother. It's also fine. You must celebrate your grandmother, your mother, your colleagues, even your house help, whoever makes your daughter, whoever makes a difference for you. I think the second thing we must do as women, we must take the responsibility of helping other women. And I urge all women, if you are not mentoring a woman, be they 5 years old, be they in primary school, at corporate level, or wherever they are, you must speak up on mentoring. Coaching, the same thing. And then also you must be inclusive with women. It is bad for women to be the ones who have the self-belief against the gender. So we also must be pushing the agenda in terms of making sure that all the women are properly endowed from a talent perspective, training, their visibility is higher up there. When you have an opening, network, the men are great at network. We are not so good at network because we try to balance with other things. And that's why I think for positions, men always get to know first. So we must raise our ante in terms of networking and telling our own selves.
Celebration on one hand, but also lots to do
lots
on
to
the
do,
other.
And also challenging ourselves. Because at the end of the day, nobody is going to favor you because you're a woman. You're going to get that position because you do deserve it.
On merit.
And that's how you can stay it up there. Because if it's not on merit, then you have no staying power.
You've risen quite high up on the corporate ladder. Are there women who, as you were rising up, you looked up to and thought, if I can just be like this lady, then I think I'll have done something with my life? Who are some of your role models as you in this journey?
I think I must be honest. I've had more male role models than women role models.
That is very honest.
And there's nothing wrong because we've not been many. We've not been many. So if you look at corporate, there has not been very, very many. Of course, there were those ones like Dagashukia we always used to admire from far. But there have been not very many in corporate sense. Not very many.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think for women, you have to look at a role model, whichever sex they are. depending on what you want to achieve.
It actually reminds me of a quote, and I don't know if I have the quote here again by Sheryl Sandberg, that a time will come when we'll no longer talk about women leaders, but just leaders, that we won't have to differentiate them on gender.
I would say amen to that.
Amen
it's
to
about
that.
leadership, leadership, leadership.
Doesn't matter about the gender, and we have that quote. We'll be putting that up. So if you've told us a little bit about role models, I'm sure there are a lot of women who look up to you. There are those who might come and work in offices you've worked after you've retired. What would you like them to be told about you in terms of a legacy that she did X, Y, Z, etc.?
Gosh, okay. So I thought that was from the left, but I think when I'm retired, I'd like to be seen as having been somebody who set the leadership standards for women and also who balanced with the private life. So you got it all. You have a nice family at the side, and you do not at the side, that may be different. You have a nice family at the center of it, and you've succeeded in the career front.
Okay.
Yes.
Legislation, are you satisfied with legislation in Kenya geared towards affirmative action? Do you think more needs to be done?
I think the fundamentals in the country are right, but the fundamentals only go as far as a certain distance.
Implementation.
I think the rest of us, is the women ourselves, we have to do a lot so that we are given these chances, not because we are women, but because we deserve. And then the fundamentals also sort of force the institutions to think about them and be deliberate about their actions.
Okay. I know I promised no politics, but I have to ask you this question. 6 cabinet secretaries, women, in President Uhuru Kenyatta's 21-person cabinet. Could he have done better? As we talk about International Women's Day?
We agreed no politics.
We agreed no politics. Okay.
No, I think he could have done better. I think he could have done better. But I don't know what was going behind the scenes. But I'm hoping that in the next sort of appointments, there's so many women to choose from that he has got no choice, and we push towards the 60-40.
FIDA gave him a long list of women who they believe are qualified, so hopefully he'll be able to take a look at that as he continues making appointments. Comparing women in Kenya to other parts of the world, you've traveled widely. What do you see in other countries that you think we can emulate, but also what are you most proud about when you talk about Kenya? And
I think Kenya, from a corporate sense, and women, we are doing very well. We could do better, of course, but I think we've come a long way, especially in the middle tier of corporate sector. We have so many women. It's actually starting to tilt.
Really?
It's starting to tilt, which is very good, and also at hiring. And it comes all the way from university. I think we're starting to see a lot of change. And there are some sectors sectors within corporate that is actually more very, very female, and not HR and not teaching.
And not HR and not teaching.
Not teaching, So,
As we wind up this discussion, your message to women watching this particular interview as we count down to International Women's Day, what would you have to tell them? I
think my main message is what I've talked about. Please do not see yourself as a woman. See yourself as a person, as a human being who can contribute to society, who is well endowed with all the talent and all the technical abilities of a leader, and therefore we can all make better leaders in the country for ourselves, in our families, in our corporates, and in the political arena. And then the country will be very, very different, I guarantee you.
I think that's a great place to leave it at. Let me ambush my director as well. If we have those quotes, we can read them now. Okay, we'll put them at the end, that's what I'm told. So we can take a quick break now. Let's take a look at those quotes even as we wind up. Thank you so much. We had the Managing Director of Kenya Breweries Limited, Jane Karuku, to have this particular discussion for the next 3 days, up until Friday, even after International Women's Day. We'll be having this discussion here, talking about the rights of women in different sectors. Let's take a look at those quotes right now.